In today's program, we will be talking about the regional and national security concerns, the security situation in Pakistan, regional players and their contributions to the current scenario. Clashes between Lashkar-e-Islam and Ansar-ul-Islam continue to claim lives in the Khyber agency. The bodies of the 17 slain SC security personnel have been reclaimed and laid to rest, while the militants are threatening to kill the rest of the security personnel in their captivity. On the other hand, both India and Afghanistan are blaming Pakistan's intelligence agencies for the suicide attack against the Indian embassy in Kabul, which left 58 dead. While in Afghanistan itself, the security situation is rapidly deteriorating. The militants are aggressively attacking US and ISAF forces every day. To better understand the security situation in the region as well as their political concerns, we are joined in the studios by founding consultant of BrassTacks, Mr. Zaid Hamid, and senior journalist Tahir Khan. Sirs, welcome to the program. Mr. Khan, I'd like to start with you. What has gone wrong, so seriously wrong, in Peshawar? Have we totally lost control of one of the 4 provinces of this country?
Amrit, let me make it very clear. Nothing has gone wrong in Peshawar. The headlines that you were hearing few weeks ago that Peshawar is about to fall and Taliban at the gates, as far as Peshawar is concerned, total nonsense, absolute crap. I would like to make it very clear that you are, we as a nation are being subjected under a massive psychological warfare operations. We are being demoralized. We are being put into a frame of mind which suggests that this country is going to disintegrate.
Right.
Nothing is going to happen like
that. But then when we hear about operations and we hear about, militants coming into Peshawar...
Let me tell you the reality of those militants. You see, the militants who were coming into Peshawar is a small group of Mangal Bagh. He's just an ordinary highwayman, a criminal, a brigand who is basically involved in robbery and almost like highway robberies and or western raiders coming into the towns, grabbing booties and going back. He has no higher objectives. He's got no support and following around in that area. And he is already bogged down by in a massive sectarian fight between his group and the opposite group that is there.
Right.
Primarily it is a Deobandi Barelvi fight that is going on the Khyber agency. And once the security forces decided to polish them up, it took them 24 hours to push them back into disappearances. They don't exist anymore.
Okay.
So this is the reality of the perception that was being given by the media that Peshawar is about to fall. Nothing is going to happen like that. I would like to take you even behind. Why did I say that we are being subjected with the psychological warfare operations? Primarily, it's a low intensity conflict against Pakistan. Whatever is happening in the tribal areas, the support to the insurgencies, which are almost turning into high intensity conflict with Pakistan army going to the areas trying to subdue the militant groups which were rebellious. Then this perception of Taliban taking over the areas of Swat and right from the south of NWFP going up to the northern areas.
Right.
All this needs to be understood in a proper perspective. Let me clarify these things so that everybody understands the reality of the situation on ground. You see, there are 3 Talibans. People only use the term Taliban, but I would like to clarify here that there are 3 distinct categories of Taliban. One Taliban are the Afghan Talibans, who are the genuine freedom fighters who are trying to liberate their land from a foreign occupation. Afghan Taliban, no matter, anyone can disagree with their ideology or harshness or whatever, but under every international law they are fighting a war of liberation. They are trying to liberate their land. They have no global objectives. They don't want to wage another 9/11 in America or anywhere else in the world. They don't want to declare a war against the state of Pakistan. There is not a single statement from Mullah Umar in last 8 years or the Afghan Taliban leaders that they consider Pakistan as an enemy state as well. They do not. They are only trying to liberate their homeland. Simple as that. Then there are other Afghan commanders who operate in Afghanistan, like the former jihadis of Gulbuddin Hikmatyar, for example, and Jalaluddin Haqqani, who are not Taliban, but they are Afghan resistance fighters who are primarily again giving resistance to the Americans and have got nothing against Pakistan as such, have not committed any act of terrorism against Pakistan. The recent fighting that has been going on in Afghanistan is primarily focused in Kunar regions. That is the area where Hikmatyar is operating. That's where the Americans are taking the maximum of losses. The other two types of Talibans which we are talking are the Pakistani Taliban, and amongst them are also 2 categories. One Pakistani Taliban are hardcore terrorists who are sponsored by Afghans and Indians and who are waging a war against the state of Pakistan, the group of Baitullah Masood.
Okay.
The other Taliban are those who are fighting Baitullah Masood and not against the state of Pakistan.
But they are working for the state of Pakistan.
They are working for the state of
their
Pakistan,
identity.
but their only grievances with the state of Pakistan is that they want to wage a war against the Americans in Afghanistan, not against the state of Pakistan.
Right. Which brings me to my next question. We have groups like Lashkar-e-Islam and Ansar-ul-Islam, and now we have a Pakistan Taliban section, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. So where have all these groups, all of a sudden we have these 3-4 strong militant groups who are armed, who have training coming up in the tribal areas and northern areas of Pakistan. So where are their roots and where are they getting their funding from?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Funding has never been a problem for Mujahideen, for Islamic groups, for these Taliban. And these Talibans, yes, they are Pakistanis, but they have roots with the Taliban in Afghanistan. And you cannot separate these people, especially Baitullah Masood.
Right.
And even his rival, Maulvi Nazir, who is Wazir, and this man is Masood. And the other people who are not Waziristan, like Hafiz Gul Bahadur, separate group. Now Hafiz Gul Bahadur and Maulvi Nazir, they have now a new faction against Masood. But there's rivalry or there's enmity is only based on the local things. Because when Maulvi Nazir, he led a Lashkar against the Uzbeks in South Waziristan.
Okay.
That was the main reason between the enmity or the rivalry or anything or the differences or dispute between Masood and Wazir. Your question about the funding has never been a problem. Some people asking questions that from where they are getting these weapons.
Right.
Weapons have never been a problem.
Why have they never been a problem? That's my question.
Yes.
I mean, like, where is it coming from?
Yes, because Pakistan had been a base against the Soviet troops in Afghanistan. Pakistan had been a center for 10 years when the Mujahideen were fighting against the Soviets.
Right.
There was no shortage of weapons.
Right. But that was 20 years ago.
And I am telling you very interesting thing. Hikmat Yar spokesman and his son-in-law, Ghairat Bahiz, was arrested